Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station, coming to you from the Nelson and Tasman region. In this week's news roundup, fire guts Stoke business, deckhand jailed for slashing man's throat, cannabis bus sees many charged, police confirm young motorcyclist died, Nelson MPs go head-to-head on housing, local views on immigration, and Nelson Tramping Club turns 80. Fire investigators who have been at the scene of the remains of a Nelson business completely destroyed by fire on Wednesday are yet to determine the cause of the blaze. Mainland's Chrissy Small headed out to Wakatu Industrial Estate to the affected water blasting firm, which had suffered the aftermath of what had been an intense fire on Wednesday afternoon, in which smoke could be seen for many kilometres.
I'm down here at Wakatu Estate. We had a bit of a drama yesterday. Water Solutions, where a fire began, is of course a repair shop for water blasters. The owner's wife was in the office, and what alerted her to the fire was their dog barking. She alerted them to the fact that the place was on fire. It took off very quickly. They were lucky to get out. Water Solutions was a business which I spoke to back when Orphanage Creek was flooding and Wakatu Estate was underwater. They were seriously damaged then and heartbroken. Today they're seriously damaged and again heartbroken.
It's understood that the blaze began inside the workshop at the business and that all staff were safely evacuated at the time of the fire. A Nelson deckhand has been jailed for 6 years and 9 months for slashing another man's throat. 30-year-old Joseph Koru Tapahe Lewis was sentenced in the Nelson District Court on Tuesday for the attack, which happened on board a fishing boat berthed at Port Nelson in early February this year. Lewis slashed the throat of a fellow crew member as he was talking on a cell phone with his wife. In March, the accused pled guilty to a charge of wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm prior to his sentencing this week, which involves a minimal parole period of 3 years and 2 months. The victim has spent many months recuperating from the vicious assault. Tasman police have confirmed 21-year-old Thomas Davidson of Richmond, who was critically injured in a motorcycle accident last month, died in Wellington Hospital on the 21st of May. The crash occurred on State Highway 6 at Collins Valley on April 27th. A funeral service was held for Mr Davidson on Monday. Police are continuing with their investigation into the cause of the crash. The water contact ban in the Nelson Haven has been partially lifted following testing that gives water quality the all clear. Last week, everyone was advised not to swim or carry out recreational activities in the Haven after the discovery of a leaking pipe north of Marybank Road, which had caused sewage overflow. Access to Tahunanui Beach and the port areas has been restored and banned signage removed. Restrictions remain in place in the Haven area north of Ackerston Street. The public is asked to wait until signage has been removed before taking to the water in this area. Council reminds everyone that shellfish should not be collected from the enclosed waters of the Waimea Inlet and Nelson Haven at any time. 48 people across the Tasman Police District will be facing charges as a result of the annual cannabis recovery Operation Lucy. This year, 5,266 plants were recovered, along with a further 17 kilograms of dried plant material. Police also seized firearms and a significant amount of ammunition, along with $10,000 in cash during the operation. In total, 38 search warrants were executed on properties. Operation Commander Sergeant Rob Crawford says police found 172 cannabis plantations as a result of information gathered. He said there was a significant increase in plants located in Marlborough in the Havelock and Wairau Valley areas this season. Sergeant Crawford says the plants recovered were also in much better condition than those found the previous season, which was the result of more favourable growing conditions through the summer. He says the recovery phase of the operation was greatly assisted by the Air Force providing its Iroquois helicopter. Sergeant Crawford says it's great for them to work alongside the Air Force, who use the operation as training. The exercise provides a useful purpose for both organisations, said Mr Crawford. Sergeant Crawford says police were grateful for the information received from the public during the year that contributed to the operation. 2 local MPs went head-to-head over housing issues this week. MP Nick Smith said he was aghast Labour List MP Marion Street issued a press release on housing affordability. He says given the awful data from her period as Housing Minister, Marion Street explained to Mainland what she felt was the current situation in Nelson.
The thing that is a real problem here is the gap that is created by low wages and high house prices, which means that people really struggle to get a loan. They've got to get a 20% deposit, and even coming up with that is impossible when you're living on the rents that are as high as they are in Nelson currently.
Do you think there's a policy existing that will address this issue for the Nelson Tasman region at this stage?
No, I don't think there is. I don't think the government does have a policy on housing affordability. They talk about it as a problem for Auckland. And yes, it is a problem for Auckland, but Nelson is number 5 in the country of the least affordable places to live. We've got Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, Queenstown and Nelson. In fact, Queenstown is the most expensive place to buy a house, the most unaffordable.
Dr Smith says while he welcomes a like-for-like comparison of his record as Housing Minister, because the issue of affordability is important to Nelson and the upcoming election. He says the facts show housing affordability was much worse when she was a minister, and that house prices escalated by a much greater amount during her period in government. The median house price in Nelson went from $145,000 in 2000 to $329,000 in 2008 and now $363,000. He says the rise in house prices in Nelson was 127% under Labour as compared to 10% under National. He says today's affordability issues arise from the more than doubling in Nelson house prices under Labour's watch. Nick Smith says the Roost Home Loan Affordability Index in Nelson hit 93% during Marion Street's tenure as Minister of Housing in the last Labour government. The results of recent polls shows the majority of respondents want limits on immigration. A 3 News Reid Research poll shows almost 2/3 of voters think there should be restrictions on immigration. Meanwhile, a 1 News survey shows 57% backed immigration limits to control house prices. Stuff also ran a survey in which 60% of people said yes, we need tougher limits to help control house prices. The number of the migrants settling in New Zealand in the past year topped 70,000, the most seen in a decade in any 1 year. Labour leader David Cunliffe, who blames immigrants for rising house prices, told 3 News it would take 80% of our housing supply just to house this year's migrants. Treasury indicated the number will likely reach 40,000. Meanwhile, New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters has also come out against immigration, saying no government has the right to sell its people out like this. He says the National Party is trading away our future and our birthright, along with our land and our assets. However, Prime Minister John Key told 3 News, New Zealand is a country that has been built on migration. He says we've done very well out of it, and he thinks we should be very cautious about taking knee-jerk steps.
I have mixed feelings about that. I feel for refugees, people who are in countries where things are really tough. I think we should be welcoming to them. In the same way, I don't want New Zealand to become super crowded like some of the overseas places I've been to. So yeah, a bit mixed.
Oh look, I think it's great. There's nothing wrong with cultural diversity. Makes the community more interesting, and I'm pretty much all for it.
Yeah, I agree. Immigration should be restricted. Yeah, we've got problems within the country. Surely we should be dealing with those before we're adding to our housing congestion and our work job situation before we're actually taking people from other countries.
Immigration, there's too many people coming into our country and buying our properties and stealing our jobs, and yeah, it's wrong.
Oh, that's a tough one, really. It is. There are people who need to come to safe countries. But on the whole, yes, I think it could be looked at and just, I don't know, sort of be a bit careful about how many people we are bringing in. I think the ones who need asylum from horrible countries should get a good chance at coming in.
That depends on what the workers here for them to do. You know, like with a lot of seasonal work here, New Zealanders are too lazy to do themselves, and New Zealanders don't want to do it. So these are the people who are going to fill in these positions for these people. That's my opinion on that one.
Results from Nelson Tasman Tourism's international media program, in conjunction with Tourism New Zealand, will hit New Zealand's screens at Thursday the 26th of June, when Travel Channel's RV Rampage makes its world premiere at Episode 6, Marlborough and Abel Tasman. The new 10-part entertainment series will reach an international audience of millions, with Travel Channel transmitting 24 hours a day in 23 languages to over 130 countries across Europe, the Middle East, Africa and Asia Pacific. The show was filmed last year in 10 locations around the country, including Auckland, Taupo, Wellington, Marlborough, Abel Tasman, Franz Joseph, Fox Glacier and Queenstown. The Marlborough and Abel Tasman episode synopsis alludes to some of the Top of the South's highlights, with the Travel Channel website stating the RV Rampage tour hits the road before dawn from Wellington to catch an early morning ferry to New Zealand's South Island. In Marlborough, the biggest and most famous area of wine production in New Zealand, the tourist challenge is competitive wine tasting and identifying grape varieties at the Yalen Vineyard. But it's not all quaffing fine wines. Henry and Amanda are putting the teams to work on the vines with the back-breaking task of bud rubbing. Day 2 in the South Island, and the teams make the drive to the Abel Tasman National Park, where they're heading to their Rampage Challenge, a gruelling sea kayaking course crossing the ocean to an island where they must locate RV Rampage flags. It's not long until exhaustion and stress takes one team beyond breaking point. Nelson Tasman Tourism's International Marketing Manager Lauren Heafy says that the NTT team hosts over 60 international journalists every year with the aim of getting positive stories of a Nelson Tasman holiday in front of as many potential international visitors as possible. The Nelson Tramping Club is 80 years old this month, and Mainland's Ray Salisbury interviewed President Laurie Halkett on Tuesday morning about the upcoming anniversary celebrations.
Laurie Halkett, tell me all about the Nelson Tramping Club.
The Nelson Tramping Club's made up of around 110 members. We're all pretty much kindred spirits. We love tramping, heading into the hills because we love their forests, lakes, rivers and mountains. Many of us do it for camaraderie, and many of us others do it to recharge the batteries after a busy working week. So there's a multitude of reasons why people go tramping, but most of all it's the beauty of the backcountry that New Zealand offers is the reason that we're all out there in the hills tramping. Yeah, there's a range of other social activities the club is involved with. We have club nights every second month, the first Monday of every month. And those nights generally we have a guest speaker that will come along and talk to the club members, and it's across a variety of topics. In the past we've had Craig Potton talking about his consummate skill in photography. We've got Chris Milden coming up actually next month. He'll be talking about mountain biking in the backcountry, which will be interesting because they are another set of backcountry users, and we are likely also to have Nick Smith coming along to our AGM in August. So those are the club nights. We also have pub nights where we generally just shoot the breeze and talk about upcoming trips or programs or trips that we dream of doing and try and fit them on the program somewhere. So the club was founded in May 1934, and in those days those intrepid souls had to get to the start of their tramp by either walking or push biking, cycling to the start of a tramp, or if it was a little further afield then they would hire a car. Their first tramp was up to Third House to Jenkin Hill and back down through the brook, and their first overnight tramp later on that year in 1934 was to Flora Hut, which is rather interesting because the club in this current day has entered into a partnership arrangement with the Department of Conservation to maintain Flora Hut in its original condition. So that involves going up there for working bees. We undertook our first working bee march of last year and re-roofed the hut, and we'll be doing another working bee full weekend up at Flora Hut sometime this year, probably to line the inside of the hut. So the hut's got a strong association with huts in the backcountry. Those early days in the 1930s, there were 2 huts that were built by the club, the Rocks Hut in the Richmond Range and John Tate Hut in Nelson Lakes National Park.
And finally, Laurie, tell us about the upcoming 80th anniversary celebrations.
Yeah, our celebrations are going to take place at St Arnaud, at the St Arnaud Hall, and they're scheduled to take place on Saturday the 26th of July starting at 4 p.m. So any members of the public are also most welcome to come along to this event. The details will be on the Nelson Tramping Club website, which is www.nelsontrampingclub.org.nz. The night itself will involve a potluck dinner. We'll have quizzes, lots of fun and games, and possibly if there's anybody there that can still remember, we might even have some singing and dancing. So that'll be the event, and it should be a fun night. We had our 75th anniversary again up at St Arnaud, so it's a great venue to hold a celebration like that. So everybody is welcome to come along.
Meanwhile, Ray Salisbury asked members of the public, do they visit our national parks and how often?
Do you visit our national parks and how often?
Ooh, I do. Not as often as I would like, maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
And what activities do you participate in?
Tramping, walking, swimming.
Yeah, we do. We're great caravanners. So, I've been a ranger in the National Park Service as part of my career in the past. So, it's part of our lives. But yeah, we use them a lot because they are just great resources, great recreational resources.
Gosh, we just about live in a national park. Yes, we do. Not terribly often. Only probably over to Abel Tasman, mostly. But yeah, in the past we have. But yeah.
Never really. Yeah, really not that often at all.
Are you too busy?
Yeah, usually too busy.
Much as I can, but unfortunately we've got a business to run on the weekends and it's a bit hard to get here. But I do. I love our national parks. Are absolutely our heritage, aren't they?
Yeah. Great.
Tramping mostly. We go up the lakes quite a bit.
Nelson Lakes, down the Marlborough Sounds. When we were in the North Island, we used to use the Urewera National Park a lot. Mount Taranaki. So yeah, we're actually using national parks in our travels as caravanners, or we have as campers with our kids as well, for years and years. So yeah, great, absolutely magnificent resource.
The New Zealand Amateur Radio Association is holding its conference in Blenheim this Queen's Birthday weekend. Amateur radio operators from all over New Zealand, including many from Nelson, will be in Blenheim for the 2014 conference, which runs over 3 days. Whilst amateur radio is a great high-tech hobby involving computers, smartphones, radios, TV and many other devices, it's also the only form of communication that works reliably during civil defence emergencies, as no infrastructure is required. Nelson is well served with a dedicated community of amateur radio operators, and the Blenheim conference will enable many of the operators to meet people they've spoken to for the first time. Amateur radio is one of the longest running electronic social media networks, with many websites and links available. And finally, police say all motorists this Queen's Birthday weekend can take 3 simple steps to stay safer on the roads. The Make It Till Monday road safety campaign began on Thursday. During last Queen's Birthday weekend, no one died on the roads. A result road safety agencies are asking all road users to once again strive for. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Hi, I'm John McMillan at the Nelson Power Tool Centre. We have great prices on all the top quality brands of power tool. Tools and equipment at our showroom, 146 Tahunanui Drive in Nelson. The Nelson Power Tool Centre, the specialists that stand behind and service what we sell.
Hi, Gus Bewlins of Gustav's Clothing for Men on Trafalgar Street. I'd like to invite all the people of Nelson, Tasman and international and local visitors to come and check out our brand new refurbished store, which is now chock full of the latest international and New Zealand brands. From France, Lacoste; from the UK, Ben Sherman; RM Williams; from Sweden, Gant; from the US, Calvin Klein jeans; and from New Zealand, Rembrandt suits, jackets and trousers; Cutler, Berlin and Snowy Fine merino knitwear. So come on into Gustav's on Trafalgar Street and we'll look after you.
FAV Mobile Solutions are the scooter, walker and wheelchair specialists for the Nelson region. Call in and see the huge range available. Take one for a free test drive and pick up your free booklet guide. They also provide a rescue service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. Come in and see Robin and the friendly team at FAV Mobile Solutions in the Richmond Free Car Park opposite the Old Town Hall.
Discover the Belgrove Tavern just 20 minutes south of Richmond on State Highway 6 for meals, functions, weddings, barbecues and garden bar with lots of room for kids. Come and see us.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Hi, my name's Ian Mortimer. Mortimer Auto Upholstery is your one-stop shop for all your upholstery needs. We do car and boat interiors, boat canopies, ute tonneau covers, canvas and PVC fabrication. Call in and see us in Oxford Mews, 72 Oxford Street, Richmond.
Sunday meditation, that's on every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Community lunch after the class. Suitable for everyone interested in meditation and improving and calming the mind. That's on at the Chandrakirti Meditation Centre at 289 Sunrise Valley Road, Upper Moottree. Victory 60 Plus on Tuesdays at 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. at 238 Upper Vanguard Street. Join us for cards, games and a cuppa. For more information, contact Jan on 546 9057 or 027 4577 955. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thanks for joining us. We'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
The majority of information in our life comes to us through our vision. With only one set of eyes to last our lifetime, it's important that you look after them. For over 20 years, Carrington Eye Care has led the way in providing the Nelson Tasman region with professional eye care. Our team are committed to providing you and your family with the highest standard of eye care. As part of this commitment at Carrington Eye Care, we recommend Crizal lenses. Crizal is a revolutionary lens which repels dust and fingerprints. This means it's easier to clean and stays cleaner longer. Visit us at our Nelson, Richmond practices and ask about our Crizal satisfaction guarantee.
Hi, I'm John McMillan at the Nelson Power Tool Centre. We have great prices on all the top quality brands of power tool. Tools and equipment at our showroom, 146 Te Hunanui Drive in Nelson. The Nelson Power Tool Centre, the specialists that stand behind and service what we sell.
Oh, to be healthy.
Lifestyle, diet and exercise, complemented with quality supplements, can provide you the insurance vital for your natural health and well-being. With over 10 years professional experience making some of New Zealand's most trusted nutritional supplement brands, visit the O to Be Healthy factory outlet in Wakatu Industrial Estate. Over 200 supplements to choose from, free on-site parking, no middleman.
Oh, to be healthy. Caring for you naturally.
Waimea Telecommunications, specializing in free-to-air digital television, internet broadband connections, telephone and telecommunications systems. Call Julian Toon at Waimea Telecommunications on 544-4203. Nelson Tire Center, great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer, all types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
From Cresswell's on Market Street, we've fitted footwear for all seasons, all reasons. For summer times in the Sounds, for solid support on the sidelines, for social events around town, for good times round the grapevines. That's why at Cresswell's we believe in fitting footwear correctly so you get the best out of quality shoes and sandals and can then get the best out of life.
Cresswell special service, it's unique, helping keep Marlborough on its feet for over 60 years.
If you have a complaint about any program on Mainland TV, you can write to Mainland Broadcasting, Box 595 Nelson, or contact the Broadcasting Standards Authority.